that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Michelle, I wanted to ask you about some of the threats we're seeing on the judiciary, but let me preface it by quoting the president, who has called federal judges who rule against him communists. He's called them lunatics. He's called them monsters. He has said that they hate the United States. Of course, he called for the impeachment of Judge Boasberg, said the court system is radicalized and incompetent. His advisor, Stephen Miller, has threatened to suspend the writ of habeas corpus if judges essentially don't fall in line. And as a result, we're seeing judges' lives threatened and their family members' lives threatened. Let me start with a threshold question in terms of a president making these personal attacks on judges for ruling against him, or the policies against the policies of the administration. Have we any experience in our history with this? I mean, there have been presidents, of course, who've been deeply disappointed in judges they've appointed, and of course, many of these judges ruling against Donald Trump or people appointed by Donald Trump. But have we ever seen a president make these kind of sustained and personal attacks on members of the judiciary?
Senator, look, I would say that obviously tension between, sometimes very heated tension between elected officials and judges, presidents and judges who rule against them is nothing new. But I agree with you that there is something different about the tenor of the rhetoric that we are hearing today. And I think that some of the specific suggestions, and maybe I'll offer a couple of examples. One, I do think that including family members of judges in the attacks on judges' rulings is something that, to my knowledge, we have not previously seen members of public office engage in. The proposals to impeach, right? So there's been rhetoric, but also actual resolutions introduced in the House to impeach federal judges for the substance of their rulings is also something that I don't think we've seen. We've obviously impeached federal judges before. That's a constitutional remedy for very serious misconduct, bribery, corruption. Obviously, if the judges engage in treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors, impeachment is the remedy. But we've never seriously entertained the possibility of impeaching judges for the substance of their rulings. And so I do think that those threats represent sort of a new escalation that is deeply concerning.
Well, I would certainly agree. I tried one of those judicial impeachment cases of a judge named Porteous, and it was for bribery and other like serious offenses. Certainly not for upholding the law or the Constitution or having a different view of the law or Constitution than a president. In terms of the family members, it's not just the president's criticism, but at least while he was serving as a special employee, Elon Musk was pushing out these threats against members of the Judge Boasberg's family, I think tweeting out or retweeting content identifying who the children are or where they work. And that is just amplifying the danger to these family members. Tell us a little bit about this phenomenon now of people sending pizzas to judges and the implicit threat in that.
Well, I mean, I think it's this is also something that I don't think we have seen before, right? There is clearly some kind of coordinated effort to seek to intimidate federal judges and their families by sending pizzas, communicating the message that their residence, their addresses are known, and some of the pizzas bear the name of the murdered son of District Judge Esther Salas from New Jersey. And the message there, I think, is a very clear one of very serious threat, and I think judges are taking that threat, and the marshals are as well, from the reporting that we've seen, very seriously.
And last question, if you could help Professor put this in the broader context for us, because this attack on judges and the judiciary isn't happening in isolation. We've seen the president now turn on Leonard Leo because these ultra-conservative Federalist Society-approved judges are not proving too right-wing enough for the president. But this comes in the context of the administration also going after law firms. It seems very much a part of a concerted effort to attack the rule of law and using the law to defend people's rights. Tell us a little bit about the broader context.
I do think that attacks on judges and attacks on law firms are of a piece. They seem designed to seek to neutralize sources of countervailing authority and opposition to this administration. And if law firms can't take on unpopular causes because they are scared to run afoul of the president, and if judges are scared to rule against the president, then we really have lost any meaningful check on a president. And as I said in my opening remarks, I think if the Constitution is committed to a single principle, it is limits on power, right? No absolute power. And I worry that we are on a path toward few, if any, meaningful limits on the president.
Thank you for your testimony today and for speaking truth to power.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Schiff.